Hi guys, how are you all doing? You're back with Sam at Bright Vision Videos, and today I want to ask the question, is Fallout 4 on the horizon? Now, since coming to consoles with the release of Fallout 3, the game series has been really popular among gamers, and it seems whether it's the Mojave Wastelands of Fallout New Vegas or the Capital Wastelands of Fallout 3, gamers really enjoy exploring the vast ruins of post-apocalyptic America. And since it's been a few years since the release of New Vegas, we are about due a new Fallout game. Now, fans of Fallout 3 will recognise this guy. This is Three Dog, who is the host of Galaxy News Radio, who you often hear as you're walking around the wasteland, and he often tells news stories about both you and your father. Here is an example of one of them.
Got the skinny on the Capital Wasteland's newest, noblest dignitary, that charming cat from Vault 101. Check this out. Got some great news out of the town of Megaton. Turns out the live atomic bomb in the town center has finally been deep-sixed for good. The town sheriff, one Lucas Sims, commissioned the one, the only lone wanderer from Vault 101.
Now, the man behind the voice recently tweeted the following: "To all my Fallout 3 and Three Dog fans, there may be more of the dog coming, fingers crossed." Now, since this, speculation has just taken off about the release of Fallout 4. So is it due? Let's have a look. Now, a recent video from Outside Xbox suggested that this is about the right time for Fallout 4 to be released. They talked about a cycle between the Elder Scrolls games and the Fallout games, which places this time period right now that we are in as the optimal time for a Fallout 4 release. So this also adds to the speculation. So what would we like to see in Fallout 4? Well, the first thing I'd like to see is co-op, and a lot of Fallout fans alike would like to see this because in this game you're in a massive open world of post-apocalyptic America. You're wandering the wastelands, and you can get companions as you go about your business, but I think it would be really great if you could have your friends join you as you go along, much like you can in Red Dead, but with more possibilities. Now, it's worth mentioning that as you go along you are often advised to save, because it does auto-save, but just in case it's very easy to accidentally cock everything up. And it is a good point in that if you had a friend with you, they could quite easily cock up your game. But I think it's a risk worth taking because just the ability to free roam with a group of people and just explore the wastelands would be something that would really make this game quite valuable. Now, another thing I'd like to see is something that I know probably will be in the new Fallout game, and that's the continuation of the radio stations. And as the tweet suggested, Three Dog could return to rehost a new radio station, because something adds to the atmosphere when you're walking around with like 40s, 50s classical popular music that was around at that time. Really gives the game out a little bit more character. So it'd be cool to see a return to the radio stations as you're walking around the wastelands. Now, another thing I would expect to see is a return of the ability to get yourself a place of residence. This has been in all Fallouts from the beginning, so it's something that I would be very surprised to see excluded from the Fallout games. And it's something that really adds to it again. Like, for example, in Fallout 3 you can get yourself a nice little house in Megaton with quite a quirky British robot who serves as your butler, can tell you jokes, give you fresh, purified water, all these kind of things, and a place to sleep, more importantly. So something like that would also be cool to see in Fallout 4. Now, if you've played New Vegas as well, you'll also be aware that you can get quite a swanky penthouse apartment on the Las Vegas Strip, which really adds a little bit of glamour to it. So it's something that I expect to see in Fallout 4, and I'm quite interested to see what the developers come up with in terms of that. As well as that, I want to see the return of towns like Megaton, which you encounter with all its quirks, which is another thing you really do expect to see, and another thing I'm looking forward to seeing what they have in mind for us, because one strong rumour that is highly backed up straight from the rumour mill behind this game is that it will be set in Boston. And there was a quote from, I think it was IGN, that said Bethesda is currently scoping out and researching Boston, Massachusetts as the possible new location for Fallout 4. And this sort of ties in with previous Fallout games where there's been a mention of a place called the Commonwealth. Now, this is supposed to be Fallout's version of Massachusetts, and it's referenced quite a lot throughout the games, and could be the next big area to be explored. So the next one could be set in Boston. Now, with that in mind, in terms of enemies, this could also have a bearing if it is set there, because the Commonwealth is supposed to be quite a high-tech place, full of androids, so perhaps that's a new thing to see in the Fallout series, having to fight androids, which would, again, bring something new to the series. And along with that as well, the weapons is something I want to discuss. Again, with this being set in the Commonwealth, possibly, you could have quite a high number of really, really high-tech weapons, like more sort of laser pistols, and I'd also quite like to see the return of one of my favourite weapons, which is the Fat Man, which you can use to fire mini nuclear devices at enemies, which creates quite a big boom and satisfies the explosives fan in me. So I'd like to see a return to that as well. But as well as that, with the weapons, I'd like to see quite a detailed upgrade system. Now, you can modify weapons on Fallout New Vegas, but I'd like to see a really complex upgrade system, the likes you see on things like Mass Effect, where you really can customise your weapons and add things to them, which I think would also bring a new aspect to it. Now, one thing that's hotly debated is, would it be a better game if you could hear your character speak? Because throughout all the Fallout games, he's pitched as this silent protagonist. So a lot of fans debate whether or not having actual audible speech would be something that would be valuable in the new games, or would it ruin it? So I'd like to hear your opinions on that. But to sum up, Fallout 3 was probably Bethesda's biggest hit. As you know, Vegas was not made by them, but again, another great game. So the question is, can they follow up from Fallout 3 with a brilliant release of Fallout 4? Now, we don't know whether it's going to be next generation or not. If it is, then I'm prepared to wait for it as long as it's worth the wait. And one thing that would make it worth the wait is the co-op that I mentioned earlier. And with the processing powers of the new consoles, it's definitely possible. So I'd like to hear your opinions, whether you think this game is in the making or not. Let me know. And thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe. And in the meantime, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.